Hello YouTube, welcome back to Everyman Prepping. Today we're back out in the chicken coop and we're talking about what I think is the best way to feed your chickens with the least amount of hassle. And that's building one of these feeders here. And we'll go into more in detail how I built this in a minute. First, let's talk about feeding chickens and what a lot of people do, and another method that I don't think is as efficient. As I told you before, raising chickens, super easy. Food, water, a little bit of shelter, place to run around, and they manage themselves. You build one of these and you can go a week, 2 weeks, depending on how many chickens you have, without even worrying about their food. Now, most people will use this contraption here as a feeder for their chickens. You can see it hangs on by a wire. You can hang it, this is just for example here, usually you hang it higher. But you can see it hangs from a wire. You fill it full of food from the top, and it kind of comes out through the bottom in those little separated areas. The problem with these feeders is when they hang like this, they swing. The chickens will throw the food all over. It gets all over the ground, so there's a lot of waste. That also invites in rodents, rats, other vermin that can come in, squirrels, everything that want to try to steal the food. Also, squirrels, mice, everything can go down the wire, can climb up, can jump in this, and just help themselves to all the food they want. The other method that I have, I'll show you, it's a little harder for them to do that. So I believe this is a big waste of food if you have adult chickens. Now, what this is good for, and what I do use it for, is when I have baby chicks. I can hang it really low, or as you can see, if you put it on the ground, it just sits on the ground. You have, usually have a separate space for your baby chicks. You cage off a space, you put them in their own special little tiny pen. And this is great for the little ones. They can peck in there, they can eat, they don't make much of a mess. It's great for when they're up to maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, even 8 weeks old, the little chicks. And then you move them on over to the contraption I built. Let's talk about that now. So, these are super easy to make. They're made out of 4-inch PVC. You can see, I'll show you on the cap here. You can see on the cap there, 4-inch PVC. And since you're not holding water in this, there's no pressure, you don't even need to have the solvent. You don't need to glue it together. You just need a hacksaw to cut to size and fit the pieces together. Anybody can do this. So what you're going to need is the cap for the top. As you can see, I wanted to work around this little 2x4 that stuck out, so I had a couple of 45s to bend around it. Most of you will just go a straight shot. So a cap, straight pipe, as long as you need it. These here, they're probably about 3.5, 4 feet tall. And so you have the cap, the straight piece, and the most important part is down here at the bottom. This piece here that I'm pointing to right now is called a Y. It looks like a Y. It's spelled W-Y-E. And you get all this stuff at a plumbing store, your big box store, your Lowe's, your Home Depot, and if you have an irrigation shop near you, they'll sell it as well. 3-inch, 4-inch. 3-inch is a little small if you ask me. Go for the 4-inch or even 6, but 4-inch seems to be the perfect size. Anyway, you buy one of these Ys, and you can see you put one in the tall part. The next Y comes out for the feeder portion, and the bottom part you just cap off. And then you have this little extension. You want to put an extension here, and you can see the food inside. And then why do you want to put that extension? Well, if you don't have it, and the food, and this extension's got, and the food just sits right at the bottom, down there, the chickens can still, the hens will still throw it around, and they'll get on the floor here and make a mess. I even have a little bit there now with the extension. The extension makes it so they have to stick their necks in all the way down and eat, and they can't throw the fruit around and waste it. You have to come up with the size that works for your hens, and your rooster if you have one, and get the right depth. I've used shorter ones for younger chicks. When they're growing, then extend it. I've used longer ones. It just all depends on your hens. Just watch them, see if they throw the food around or not, and then you'll be able to get the right size. Also, the cap at the bottom. You got to cap off the bottom, and you're going to say, well, that's a bunch of wasted food. You only got 3 inches of wasted food. Well, how I solved that is I filled that with foam. I got some foam. We all get Amazon packages, and I just cut some to fit. I put it inside there before I capped it, up to the level of where the mouth is, just down there. I filled it with foam, so I don't waste any food down there. It doesn't go old. You can stuff it with rags, you know, whatever you need, but I use foam. As you can see, I built a smaller one for the oyster cells. You need the oyster cells for your chickens, for your hens, not the roosters, just the hens. They use a ton of calcium up as they're laying eggs, you know, for the shells, obviously. So if they're not free-ranging enough, or if you can't free-range them and they sit in a chicken run all day or in a coop and they don't go anywhere, you need to provide the calcium. They will eat it at their own leisure. You know, you can see it's half the height of my feeders, probably even a little less, and that'll last months. They just eat it when they feel a deficiency. You know, they take care of themselves, but you need to have that, so get one of those as well. If you have any questions on how to build this, please put it in the comments down below. Also, you can leave a comment about how you feed your chickens. I've had up to 16 chickens with these two feeders, and it'll last over a week or so, probably even 10 days. Fewer chickens and it'll last you longer. Here's one of the girls coming in now. Probably want to know what I'm doing in her space. She either wants to lay an egg or have her breakfast. You can see that little step I put down there. For some of the hens, they were a little shorter. It just helps them reach down deep in there to get to the food. You can use bricks, whatever you want. I just had that nice chunk of wood laying around, so I used that. Anyway, please like and subscribe to the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you would, leave a comment, like I said, with your suggestions as to how you feed your hens. If you have, if you want to talk about how to build this, I can give you ideas, a parts list, anything you need. Until next time, keep your ear to the ground and your head on a swivel.